Hello, welcome to Old Virginia Homes. The early 19th century house we'll be visiting today is a building where architecture and human stories are woven together in a unique way. From the building's solid stone walls and iron-barred openings, this design is purposeful, meant to control and contain. There were countless characters who passed through these doors, people who lived here for long periods of time or just briefly, and people who worked here. It's interesting to envision the daily routines that shaped life inside these walls, lived by the men and women who once called this place home, whether by duty or by sentence. Join me as we visit the jailer's house and its attached big house, an Old Virginia home in Warrenton. Let's go. The front brick structure was built as the original jail in 1808, with 4 cells, 2 on each floor, each approved to house up to 40 prisoners. Can you imagine what full capacity would have looked like? This definitely was a time when incarceration was not about rehabilitation. Rather, it was about containment, punishment, deterrence, and sometimes downright survival. By and large, prisoners were expected to pay for their own food and bedding. Those who could not afford this relied on charity, or simply went without. The brick portion of the jail is now a museum dedicated to early life in the county, including well-known people who lived in or visited Warrenton. So you'll see these exhibits as we wander around the interior of the brick portion, and it's worth a visit to take it all in. But we're going to focus on the jailhouse history. By the 1820s, the brick jail was considered insufficient and in bad repair. Conditions were bleak: broken windows, no heat, and no full-time jailer, which meant that prisoners often went without food for long periods of time. In 1820, correspondence regarding the jail said, "The windows in the prison's second story are open, and the dungeon is also exposed. There are no means at present by which it can be warmed, and unless some provision is made, some of those confined in it in the winter season may perish with cold. 2 of the rooms are extremely offensive." The jailer at that time, Benjamin Lakin, was accused of filling the jail with enslaved laborers as holding cells before being sold by slave traders. After another bad inspection that found the cells to be in a filthy and offensive condition, the Virginia General Assembly demanded a new jail be built. The General Assembly also began to revise the laws pertaining to county jails. This jail was not the only one considered to be offensive in condition. The revisions required regular inspections, and jailers were expected to provide prisoners with clothing, bedding, and sanitation. Debtors would receive reduced sentences instead of being hopelessly imprisoned, and protocols for runaway slaves were established. In 1823, the brick portion was converted to a jailer's residence, and the parallel stone jail with its high-walled jail yard was built. This resulting 2-part building served the county until 1966. An addition was also added to the brick house to include a kitchen. The kitchen not only served the jailer's family, it was also used to prepare meals for prisoners. Prison reform now demanded that prisoners receive 2 meals a day. The jailer's portion of the building housed many families throughout the years. The Patty family was one of them. Josephine Patty was married to jailer Horace Patty. Josephine, who was also called Josie, had a difficult life. 3 of her daughters died of scarlet fever in 1861. Later, she lost another child, William, to dehydration. Here you can see Josie's autograph etched in a window. In 1881, Josephine died in the home from unknown causes. There is a legend that a woman died in the house when her dress caught fire, and there is some speculation that that woman was Josephine. Early prison reform was a step in the right direction, but prison life was still a miserable existence. While the new stone jail included an exercise yard, which is good, that space also served double duty as a hanging yard. Early executions would have taken place in front of the jail since public hangings were a gruesome form of entertainment. It was also believed that public executions were beneficial as a deterrent to crime. In 1879, Virginia's General Assembly passed the Criminal Punishment Law, which decreed that hangings must proceed in private. Only selected witnesses could attend. This is the courtyard located between the jailer's house and the 1823 stone jail. It provided a buffer between the jailer's family and the prisoners. Here, prisoners could also get a breath of fresh air. On January 19, 1880, a brutal and barbaric event took place at the jail when a mob of men stormed the building and lynched a young black man named Arthur Jordan. Jordan had worked for Nathan Corder, who was white, in Warrenton and began a romance with Corder's daughter, Elvira. It is said that when Elvira became pregnant, the couple eloped to Williamsport, Maryland, and began to live a life in hiding from Elvira's family. Their whereabouts were exposed after the couple sent letters to friends which were postmarked from Williamsport. Arthur Jordan and Elvira were found by a group of 6 men, including Nathan Corder, Elvira's father. The group forcibly took Jordan to the jail in Warrenton. A few days later, masked men pretending they had a captive they were delivering to jailer Horace Patty, then rushed the jailer and pushed through the door at gunpoint. They forced Patty to give them the key to Arthur's cell. Arthur was dragged from the jail and hanged from a tree in a nearby cemetery. It's the sad, sordid stories like this that lead people to believe that the old jail is haunted. Supernatural accounts abound, and paranormal investigations have taken place here that suggest that disturbed spirits linger. In 1966, the old jail closed, and its 18 inmates were moved to a new facility in Warrenton. The Fauquier Historical Society began its preservation of the jail and opened it as a museum in 1971. In 1977, the Old Jail Museum was placed on the Virginia Landmarks Register, and in 1978, it was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Thank you for visiting the Old Jail with me. As always, you can learn so much more about the jail and local history in general by visiting in person.